Bunnings have announced, right, that, well, this is the biggest hardware store in Australia. Basically, they dominate the entire market. They have announced that they are launching $0 offer for home batteries and rooftop solar. So upfront, $0. They've had thousands of people sign up to this deal. It sounds awesome. Too good to be true. It's not too good to be true. Well, actually, it kind of is for this reason. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Great to have you with us. Bunnings has launched their $0 upfront offer for home batteries and rooftop solar. And I saw this and I thought, this is great. I mean, more people are going to be getting solar and more people are going to be getting batteries. I mean, this is a win-win situation, right? Yeah, there's one big problem that this has caused, and it's a very big problem. And I've been part of the problem. In fact, I personally have to admit some responsibility. I've caused this problem as well. But first of all, Bunnings, $0 upfront installation cost offer for Australian households. They want to become a big player. Bunnings are basically saying we can make hundreds of millions of dollars from this energy sector, from these batteries, solar systems. Australians are just going to install them like crazy. The move by Bunnings comes just weeks after the opening of the federal government's HomeBattery rebate scheme and follows its decision to target the home energy market and begin selling EV home charging products in its stores. And I've been to Bunnings stores and seen their EV chargers. Would I buy one? Some of them, I mean, the ones that you don't need to get installed, yeah, but the ones you need installed, I think you're sometimes better off buying it from the installer, and then the deal can work out better. That said, I've heard that Bunnings can organise that for you as well, apparently. The home battery market's booming in Australia because of the newly launched federal government rebate, says reneweconomy.com.au, and battery installations have overtaken the number of rooftop solar installations in the race for customers to add battery power to their solar systems. The deal is really good. And so thousands and thousands and thousands, I think there's like 1,000 orders every single day. And Australia doesn't have a huge population. We do have 4 million solar systems on homes, which is a massive percentage of our population have solar on their roofs. So people are saying, well, if the government is going to massively subsidize the battery, Bunnings is targeting that market. And apparently about 2/3 of Australians haven't yet installed solar. Bunnings is saying, well, if 65% of Australians haven't installed solar or a battery, let's go after them. It teamed up with software company IntelliHub to make an integrated offer to households that will feature an app, deploy technologies from two of its major new players in the Australian market, battery maker SIG Energy and solar module supplier DAS Solar. Now, SIG Energy, they have the batteries that can enable vehicle to grid. You need to get the specific system, of course. You need to get the integrated inverter with the battery as well. You do need to add that in, and that's not cheap. You're looking at about $16,000. But once the rebate comes into play, you're going to get a fair bit of a discount off that price. So it's really good if you want vehicle to grid. But there's one problem with this. Now, before I go into that, Bunnings Chief Operating Officer Ryan Baker says the launch of the Zelora product, which will initially be available online for customers in Sydney and Newcastle area, will help Australian households who are looking to transition to renewable energy and for practical solutions in the home. Many customers find home electrification complex and may not be aware of the benefits it can offer, said Baker. Zelora has been developed to simplify the home battery and solar opportunity for customers in a cost-effective way. So the move by Bunnings, backed by Australia's biggest conglomerate, basically, this whole play here from Bunnings and this solar and battery providers will shake up the home energy market. It's going to bring in big competition. However, there's some issues here, and that is they've sold all these batteries, Bunnings have, and so have other companies, the SIG Energy batteries that I personally said, well, they're good for vehicle to grid. They'll enable it to work for most EVs, but there's no stock. So literally thousands of customers have been recommended this product by Bunnings and by me and by other installers, and there's no stock. It's like SIG Energy didn't anticipate the kind of demand that was going to come, and now you're looking at months of waiting. So this is a big issue, and I've heard about this issue from actually a number of different industry analysts. I've heard about this issue as well from a CEO of one of the biggest solar companies in Australia, that a lot of these guys, they didn't do their due diligence. They didn't call SIG Energy and say, do you have thousands of batteries? Do you have thousands of this? Whatever it may be. And they sold stuff that actually doesn't exist or won't for quite a while yet. Positive is Bunnings is getting into this industry, and this could get a lot of new customers into the industry. The negative is the product isn't there yet. And the other question is the unknown. I mean, this solar company, I don't know much about them. Their app, I've never used it. Zelora, are they good? Are the solar panels good? What's the efficiency like? What's the cost? I mean, yeah, $0 up front, but what's that gonna happen to you in the long run? Who's going to look after your solar system? Who's going to be doing all the PR work? I mean, not the PR work, or who's going to be doing all the after sales service? There's always issues that come up. So that's the only thing I think you need to do when you get a solar system. Just do your homework and make sure that all of that stuff is going to be sorted. Often I've found people install cheap solar systems in Australia. We all love a bargain. I do. I've made that mistake. I've bought cheap stuff in the past, and sometimes cheap stuff has been good. Sometimes it's been straight crap. And I've known a few people who've installed cheap solar systems. Like when I say cheap, I mean really cheap. And the efficiency of those systems is horrendous. I'm thinking to myself, you've got a system. It's a big system. This happened to a few people I know. It should be putting out this much power, and it's putting out 50% of that number. And you just can't work out why. It just makes no sense. So that's the only thing I would say to people. Just have a look at what the actual panels are. Have a look at what the batteries are themselves, and just do your homework. So me personally, I have an Anchor battery. Because the main reason I have that, and I've mentioned that in other videos, because it's rated. It's got the best ingress rating for salt and water and dust and everything, stuff that gets into batteries. I think that you want to have a battery for 20 years. And I think if you live near the ocean, I live right near the ocean now, then salt just kills everything. And so that's really important. You got to look at the actual IP rating. How good is it? How well is it going to withstand the weather, the elements? And the other thing I think you got to look at is just if that company is going to disappear. So there's a big issue here in Australia where new installers, electricians and companies come along in the market, and they'll install a solar system for you. But then when it stops working, you call them and they don't exist anymore. That's very common. When I first went to install my solar system, I called around. One of my friends a relative recommended one company, called them, they didn't exist anymore. And they installed his system. So I'm like, mate, what are you going to do? Another friend actually recommended another company. They didn't exist anymore either. So this is actually very, very common. I think if you get a big company that has a lot of good reviews, not necessarily big, but a company that's been around a long time, has good reviews, that's I think important to make sure your system's going to keep working. If it breaks or if there's problems with it, the efficiency has some issue, then you can get it fixed. So what do you guys think? Is this a scenario that matters? Like, do you think the cost is more important? You should focus on budget systems, budget prices, or should you focus on the overall outcome? What do you guys think? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. And thanks for watching. Bye-bye.